Okay.
Good. Good. That'd be good.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, call this regular council meeting to order on July 21st, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Jenny.
Matt,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Ben,
Here.
Marty.
Here.
Okay, I saw where Dave Saluka had sent a email that he could not attend because his mother hadn't been released from the hospital yet. Would someone like to entertain a motion to excuse him, please?
So
I
moved.
would.
Second.
Marty,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Paula's not out there. She didn't contact anyone.
Oh, man.
It's not. I can give her a call if you want me to.
That's up to you.
I'll give her a call, see what she's up to.
Okay, I will forego the Pledge of Allegiance. We have a moment of silence for Heather Gloster. Okay, moving on. Motion to accept the June 16th public hearing minutes.
I know what you meant to say, but it came out garbled.
Well, somebody's got some background noise.
All right.
It's been on the phone.
She's trying to get on. She says she'll be here in a second.
Okay, motion to accept the June 16th, 2020 public hearing for budget
So
minutes.
moved.
Second,
Ben,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Matt,
Well, should we wait for Paul on this one? Because she's been reviewing the minutes a lot lately. If she's about to log on, maybe she's got something to say about these minutes.
We can let her say it when she gets here.
Okay.
there she
Yeah.
comes.
Okay. Is she coming in?
Yep.
Yeah, she's there.
All right.
Paula, are you on audio yet, Paula?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. We are in the middle of doing the minutes for the public hearing for the budget. And Ben had said we were halfway through the vote and we were waiting on you.
Okay, well, I approve the minutes. That's,
Jenny, you want to proceed?
Yeah. Ben,
Yes.
oh,
Scott,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Marty,
yes,
Paula.
yes,
Okay, the June 16th, 2020 regular council meeting, meeting, open for discussion. I have something on it. At the beginning of the meeting, when I asked for a moment of silence for Mike Altier, head dispatcher Linda Wilkes' brother, his name has been omitted. It's on the tape that I said his name. I would like a motion to correct that. And also,
Oh, it's down under moment of silence.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's there.
okay, because then it's on here twice, moment of silence.
Yeah, that first one shouldn't have been there.
Well, then a motion to remove that. And then on page 3, top of the page, it says also the description in the CARES Act I thought we decided that when we have acronyms that we were going to tell everybody what that was about.
That's right. So that should be expanded on. I don't know what it is, but
Either. So those are my two motions: to remove the top sentence of the beginning of the council minutes and specifying what CARES Act is.
So moved.
second,
Matt,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes,
Paula,
yes,
Scott.
Yes.
It stands for, ready? Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act.
Thank you. Michelle.
thank you.
Motion to approve the June 16th minutes as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Marty,
yes,
Ben,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes,
Matt.
Yes.
Okay, mayor's report. I really don't have a whole lot of anything, and there's a whole bunch of everything, but the biggest thing is the First Energy distribution engineering practices thing that I have emailed out to everybody the other day. Apparently, one of our residents had reached out to us to put a flag on his residential side street. And we told him we had no problem with it, but he should probably check with Ohio First Energy. And it has opened up a can of worms, so to speak. Apparently, we have no agreement with First Energy to put anything on their poles, and you must have an annual agreement with them. And they specify how you can attach to the pole, the height of it. And so we're still, this is what Lisa had sent me when I had emailed all of you the other day. And I just received yesterday afternoon an 8-page agreement. I've only gotten partway through it. So I'll probably go to service so we can discuss this, but again, we have no agreement. American Legion has no agreement to have their flags on, and the school does not have any agreement to have their banners up. So more will be forthcoming on that. Are there any citizens out there? Moving on to the financial reports.
Okay, before I forget to tell you, I'm going to be going on vacation soon. We are leaving July 31st and we'll be returning August 10th. So you won't get your financial reports until then. If necessary, you can reach me by email, which I will check daily. If there's an emergency, you can call my cell phone, which is on your contact sheet that Mary Ann made up. I let the finance committee know this last week, so I'm going to fill everybody else in. Mary Ann discovered this thing in her billing program where a person pays extra on their water bill and it all goes to water. Then once she does the billing, it gets allocated correctly between water, sewer, and the capital funds. But this reallocation has never come to me to fix in the UAN. So our funds are not really correct. It's never ever come to me. But anyway, we got all the adjustments for this year made. We can't go back into previous years. But for this year, the water fund was reduced by about $8,000. The sewer was increased by $7,000. Water capital increased by $900 and sewer capital increased by $100. So we're going to continue to do this at the end of every month. It kind of makes me wonder, how much should have gone into the sewer fund over the years. And I've got updates to our tax receipts in comparison to June 30th of last year and June 30th of this year. Municipal income tax is down $51,420. We should have a pretty good idea when we get our August 1st deposit of where we really truly are as far as tax losses. Our local government funds, which is sales tax, those are increasing and we're actually only down about $200. And if you consider the new formula that the county's using, we're pretty much on target, if not actually up a little bit, which is kind of surprising. So maybe it's, all the buying the toilet paper or something. Gas tax is up just about $11,000 because of the change in the House bill, but it's not really quite where it should be, what we had budgeted for this year. License tax is down a lot, like 16,000. And I thought now that the BMVs were open, we would have caught up, but we aren't. So I don't know what people are doing. Permissive tax, which is vehicle registration fees, those are starting to catch up and we're down about $1,800. So that's all I have, unless anybody had any questions on the financial reports.
Jenny, I have a question that deals with finances. Last week I happened to be in the office when the chief dropped the mail off on Thursday, and there were a couple envelopes that were returned that appeared to be in your writing that said return to sender. They appeared to be income tax payments. So I'm glad that they were dated earlier than the 15th, so these people weren't paying late fees. But what is our procedure if someone still is not on the cycle of mailing their quarterly or their personal income tax right to Rita? Is that how you always handle it? Put it return to sender, or do you usually forward it on?
Now, if it's a business, I'll return it back. I'll give them a phone call, let them know that it's coming back and that they have to file through the Rita website. If it's a resident, we had one resident that paid right on the due date. So I went ahead and let Rita know that that was coming and that we had received it on time. And then I mailed it to them.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on the financial report? Would someone entertain a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Okay, Jenny, you have any correspondence?
I do. This came out of the Portage News. And it said that Mantua Village has a new blessings box by the Hilltop Church. And this is where people can leave food and other items, or they can help themselves to whatever they need if they're, low on cash. The blessing box is a popular thing right now in lots of communities. And this was Chelsea's idea. She put it together and she coordinated it with Vern Oswalt, who works for our service department, and he made something really beautiful. And if you go on the Portage News website, I think there's a picture of it, but if you happen to be driving by and want to check it out, you'll see how talented he is. He did a really good job. That's all I have.
Thank you. Bills of resolution and addendum bills of resolution.
I did just get a bill emailed to me about a half an hour ago. And this is from CT. It's the utility bid documents. And it's for $2,274. And on purchase orders, we're down to $1,100. So we're going to have to either authorize more funds or something, but we don't have enough to pay this.
Okay, Jenny, you said it was from CT for what?
This is utility bid documents. We added 5,000 to that last month, but that's gone. So we've got $1,100 left, and this bill is for $2,274.
I guess I'm confused on what utility bills for Portage County, you mean?
Yes. Utility bid documents, that's negotiations and
Mayor,
Yes?
I would defer that. It was just a bill sent today. I would defer that. No need for council action this evening.
Jenny, you have that noted?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I have a question on the addendum bills. It's Ohio Edison, it says master bill. And there's 1479.98 that's billed to the Orchard Street widening.
No, it's water.
My heading says Orchard Street widening, 4905.
Look to the bottom half under service department. It's underwater.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was looking at the top. And it was really throwing me for a loop. Okay, I have nothing else then.
Motion to approve the bills and resolutions and the addendums.
Second.
Matt,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Marty.
Yes.
Okay. Moving along to legislation. Ordinance 2020-626, an ordinance authorizing certain adjustments to the 2020 appropriations and declaring an emergency. Jenny, you want to explain these to everyone?
Okay. The $25,000 increase in the general fund is for the police department. They're going to need more for their phones, probably about 19,000 more for the phones and a couple thousand more for medical. The cemetery, that's the 3720 that we're going to put in a purchase order for the Coit, the balance, remaining balance of the Coit trust that was closed in 2009. So we're going to put that on a PO so we can track the spending on that. We need to appropriate the $64,285 for the coronavirus relief money. The sewer operating fund, we need to increase by about 80,000. That's just to pay for contractual services. And water capital improvement, the 57,000, that's due to the increase. So we'll be able to do some of the things on the needs list.
Jenny, on the $25,000 that we're appropriating into the police fund, 12,000 of that is money that you're appropriating that the fire department pays us $1,000 a month towards the phone bill, correct?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
but we have to appropriate it to cut the check.
Right, no, I understand that. Okay, any other questions on the 2020-26? Would someone
No.
entertain a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Ben,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Paula.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
So
So-
moved.
Second.
Second.
Marty,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Ordinance 2020-27, an ordinance amending various section of the Streets Utility and Public Service Code of the Village of Manaway in order to permit proration of the monthly minimum water and sewer charges and the monthly capital improvement and declaring an emergency. Open for discussion. Everyone understands that this is to clarify the prorating the accounts, correct?
I understand it, but I disagree with it. We shouldn't delegate our authority for the council to govern finance. So I'm gonna vote no on it, so it's fine. I understand what you're talking about.
All right, motion to suspend the rules?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second,
Marty,
yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
No,
Motion to approve.
So moved.
I don't think I don't think you can. I don't think
You
it's
can't,
suspended.
sorry, mine was muted. You need 5 votes to suspend the rules, and because Dave's not here,
Gotcha.
you have 4. So that's just first reading, and it can
Okay,
be on next month, I guess.
thank you both. Moving on to resolution 2020-28, an agreement for purchase of salt from the city of Ravenna at 701 Oakwood Street, Ravenna, Ohio 44266. Our agreement this year is for the salt season is $56.78 a ton. Last year, when we purchased it, we had to give them we wanted 500 tons, and whatever we didn't purchase, we had to pay for 80% of it. This year, we only have to purchase and pay for what we ordered. Any questions on that?
No.
Motion to suspend the rules so I can give this back to them, please.
Move,
Marty, did you make a motion?
yes.
I'll second.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
yes,
Paula,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Matt,
Yes.
Marty,
yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Ben.
yes,
Okay, moving on. Ordinance 2020-29, an ordinance accepting permanent sanitary sewer easements from Compass Realty LLC, David Pfeiffer and Scott and Josephine Valentine, and declaring an emergency. These were the easements that we had gotten back last fall originally. Finally got them all, well, we approached the people last fall. We finally got them approved earlier this year. And Jenny got them all recorded. We forgot to do legislation to accept this. And so this is kind of a cleanup type thing. This was for the sanitary sewer that went to the parking lot at Compass Packaging. Any discussion? Motion to suspend the rules?
So
So
move,
moved. Second.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
yes,
Matt,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Marty.
yes.
Motion to approve.
So move,
Second.
Matt,
Yes.
Ben,
yes,
Scott,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Marty.
yes.
Moving on to ordinance 2020-30, an ordinance amending chapter 504 of the zoning ordinance of the village of Manaway relating to the authority of the planning commission and the board of zoning appeals to waive fee. This is coming to you from planning. Randy, do you want to explain it or do you want me to?
Go ahead, Mayor.
Gee, thanks. We had some questions regarding the fees that we charge when we do site plan reviews or when something goes before the Board of Zoning Appeals. And what this is doing is, if you go to Exhibit B, when you have a nonprofit organization or someone due to a hardship, that we can reduce the cost. They would still have to give us a check, like, let's say it's $150 or $200, whatever it is. They would give that to us up front. And then at the end of the appeal or the hearing, they would be reimbursed for anything but the cost. And the cost would be for the secretary to take the minutes, any paper and postage and advertisement that might have to be put in the newspaper. Any questions on that? This is first reading.
I understand what this was coming in for, and it's regarding the murals. And murals are being promoted right now within the state of Ohio. You'll see them going around. And a lot of communities are doing murals. My one question is, isn't there a better way? I mean, let me back off on that. When the application is submitted for the mural, it should have a picture of what it's going to look like. And then, is it really necessary for the village, the council, to oversee it because it has to go through planning? You know, there's a time and they only meet once a month. Once it goes through planning, then it may be, well, if it's a mural, be sent on to the BZA, and that's another 2 or 3 week delay in getting it started. And so it's yeah, the funding of it is an issue, but it's also the time involvement. And is there another way we could approach murals and take it into more of the community and get their thoughts on it, their acceptance, so that when the application comes in to the village, that the person proposing the mural be required to have letters from the neighbors saying yay or nay. So they would have the ability to look and say, yeah, this does look appropriate for what we envision our village to be signifying, or no, it shouldn't be. And thereby we are engaging more of the community instead of prolonging it.
Well, Paula, we did address part of the concern. If I recall, I don't have the minutes in front of me. I think it was discussed about having, I'm trying to remember the words that might have been used, a community committee to do it. And we did not feel, if I'm correct, Randy and Scott and Randy, that just a community committee should be involved in doing that.
Mayor, if I may, we can't get into regulating content. I think Michelle will back me up on that. So remember, the Board of Zoning Appeals, it comes right to me from the zoning inspection, and then it goes to, if it's just a sign permit, I approve it if it's within all the acceptable standards as far as size of sign, height, material, etc. We can't regulate content. That's part of the problem. The only reason a mural has to go for a variance is because of the size, not its content. And that's the reason we can't get into community standards or anything like that, because those don't apply. If it's just content, then if indeed it's a great big mural, it exceeds the size, the Board of Zoning Appeals can act on it.
Well, how do other communities like Ravenna? Because there it's the chamber that is proposing it and working within the confines of the community to get the authorization to create the murals. And they've got to be, based on what I've heard from you and Michelle, it's got to be kind of a community, a sign issue there as well. So how are they getting around it?
I couldn't speak to what Ravenna's doing. I really have no idea, and not going to pass any judgment on what they're doing without looking in depth into it. But if you'd like, Paula, I did write a fairly detailed memo for the Planning Commission, which I can forward to you. Kind of outlines the legal issues involved with regulating by content.
Okay, and those are the legal issues that you have observed and interpreted on the content. You said the content?
Regulating.
The content.
Yes, just John said it very well. And
I was talking sizing.
well, right, we regulate based on size in a content neutral manner, and that's legally permissible. Whereas if we were to regulate based on what the actual image is, that becomes content based, and that's when you run into legal issues. So
I would like a copy. I think that would be worth sending to all members of council so they can kind of look it over and be aware of what some of the information that we're being given, that planning is working with.
I'll forward it to everybody.
Thank you.
Any other questions? That was first reading. We'll move on to the next one. Ordinance 2020-31, an ordinance amending chapter 610 of the zoning ordinances of the Village of Mantua relating to site plan review submittals. We had a concerned resident not like the way that we were handling this. And so we have recommended some changes for it. If you go to the exhibit, for single family residential projects only, the number of hard copies would be reduced to 4, plus 1 electronic copy submitted to the zoning inspector for distribution to other 10 individual parties that are supposed to get it. But again, this only relates to residential. It does not change anything to do with commercial.
I would like to indicate that if you look at the zoning book, then section 610.05 and under C, item C, really needs to be addressed from a residential perspective, because here they're looking at traffic flow, where is the egress and exit, delineate the flow of traffic, parking and loading plan, including bicycle stands. You know, that doesn't correspond to a residential. I think that planning, you know, they took one portion of the complaint, but they didn't go through utilities, you know. So I think we really need to have them look at this closer and think of it as a resident. How much of this really applies? Whereas if you look at 610.05D, there's a statement that conversion of a single family dwelling to a 2-family dwelling will require submission of the following: site plan plan requirements under 610.05, A, B, and C to include numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, and 16. So there it is, really kind of breaking back the requirements to something that is really fits within a residential perspective, instead of loading docks and entrance and exits and so on. So I think it really needs to be readdressed.
I agree with Paula.
Any other comments?
No.
Okay, there was no motion to send it back to the planning, so we'll move on.
Oh, you need a motion to send it back to planning? I move that we send it back to planning.
Second,
Scott,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes,
Ben,
yes,
Matt,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Moving on, resolution 2020-32, a resolution accepting the quote of $20,378.30 from Todd Lamb for paving and excavating the Booker Park Walking Trail Project Phase 2 and declaring an emergency. Open for discussion.
I just want to, under the bid proposal, they're looking at 26,000 cubic yards of aggregate surface course. And is that what is planned to be put on the eastern side along the river to resurface the existing path?
Mayor, Council, the trail along the river is gravel.
I'm sorry?
Along the river is gravel only. It's gravel.
It's gravel, it's not limestone.
It's not asphalt.
No, it's not asphalt. I said
Oh, I'm
26
sorry.
cubic yards of aggregate surface course, 8/10, number 8/10 limestone blend.
Yeah, sorry, didn't hear that clear. Yeah, you're correct. That's correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Would someone entertain a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Second,
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
yes,
Matt,
Yes.
Paula,
yes.
Marty.
yes,
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Marty,
yes,
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
yes,
Paula.
yes.
Resolution 2020-33, a resolution accepting the bid submitted by NES Corporation for the Orchard Street widening project, authorizing the mayor and the clerk treasurer of the village of Mantua to enter into a contract for said improvements and declaring an emergency.
how much money? What's the amount of money?
It's in your packet, Ben. Let me.
Ben, Ben sent it out at the last minute to us.
The bid for the concrete is $55,929. For asphalt, it was $52,924. If you'll recall, on this project, ODOT Jobs and Commerce gave us approved $35,000. The businesses on the streets, Stoms, Compass, Aetna, DMRC, Sierra Trucking, and I'm sorry, there probably was one more that totaled $19,000. The village put in $12,000 from the capital improvement 4905. Is that the correct fund, Jenny?
Yes.
Saint-Aubin money. The bids came in a little higher. So we had a total of 66,000. We were aiming for 61,000 as a total. John, you want to explain anything I'm missing? I did speak with Jenny because I thought we'd come up $2,000 to $4,000 short because the bids were higher. She did say we had enough in St. Cobain if we needed to approve that $2,000 or $4,000 because we don't want to go back to the businesses.
Yeah, no, I concur. That's what I said. We can't go back to the businesses for any more. They've been more than very, very helpful for helping us with that. And Jenny said the money's there, so I don't have a problem with that.
So we, on the legislation, we have in section 2, we have to decide on the amount. I would recommend just going with the asphalt on it, but that's up to council.
What did you, the asphalt was 52.9? Is that what you said, Linda?
Let me get over there again.
No, don't worry about it. That was-
$52,924. $52,924.
924.
What was the concrete? 54,
57,
57.
or 55, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, the concrete was, because he had a mistake on the asphalt. The concrete was 55,929.
And that's
55,
gonna be
a difference of
concrete.
3,000.
That's gonna be concrete trucks and 18-wheelers turning up and down that street.
The thing is, Ben, it's not going to be concrete all the way across the intersection. It's only going to be concrete on the turning radius. Isn't that correct, Rich?
Correct.
So you're saying we're not totally redoing Orchard, we're just doing the turning radius.
And the widening, yes.
Correct.
But it's not going to be concrete all across the whole width of Orchard, meeting 44.
That's the concrete bed part of it. Other than that, it's the asphalt's gonna be the same thing across the widening of the opening.
The bulk of the traffic will still, the bulk of the traffic still carried by asphalt pavement.
John, what's your gut?
I think asphalt, because if we're not doing it all in concrete and extra wide and everything else, it's asphalt, and the like material would work better. The concrete will give and break apart a lot easier with those big trucks, especially not being all concrete. It's only, partial. So yeah, I think the asphalt's the best material for this intersection. So
That makes sense.
Rich, what is your recommendation?
The low bid asphalt,
Okay,
you'll get a good product. You'll get a uniform looking product. The intersection will look uniform. It will perform very well because now the turning radius is expanded. Obviously, as with any road, it requires maintenance and upkeep, but I think that'll give you a good product.
So again, in section 2, will council accept the bid for contract B for the asphalt for $52,924? Or contract A for $55,925 for the concrete? I need a motion.
I will make a motion to accept B. If there's no more discussion.
I'll second that.
Marty,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes,
Matt,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes,
Scott.
Yes.
Okay, Michelle and Jenny, you got that so that it's B for the asphalt and the dollar amounts?
So it'll be 52,924 for asphalt pavement option as set forth in Exhibit, which is actually bid B. Sorry, that didn't come out right. Thanks.
You guys want to fill that out?
Do we, that's what we have the money to cover, right, Linda?
Yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
Okay. It's not gonna put us in a bind. We'll be all good, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now that you've selected which option, would someone entertain a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Second,
Matt,
yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes,
Scott.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve. Is that an amendment? We can add that in?
It sort of is an amendment. It was blank when I sent it out.
So should I ask for a motion to approve as amended?
That sounds good, yes.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second,
Marty,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Paula,
yes,
Matt.
yes.
Okay,
Okay, so this will be done before snow flies, right?
you're asking me or Rich?
I'm asking John.
I gotta see the final bid document, but I believe yes. It's
Okay.
gonna be sooner than later. Exactly.
Okay. All right. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. It would be nice to do this, you know?
Over 2 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Moving on, department's head. You first out, your report, please.
Okay, good evening, Mayor Council.
No, excuse me.
Committee met on July 1st. Due to technical difficulties, we didn't get started until 6:05 p.m. We went over our monthly reports. Under old business, we discussed about all gathering and events were still on hold because of the 19 situation. And we discussed our old business upon opening of the government center, hand sanitizer, all 3 entrances. That we had hired a part-time dispatcher, that he was in training and completed, and that Patrolman Brothers, she was advancing in her training. We promoted her to part-time, we did last month. Under new business, we discussed that Patrolman Dunn had a, and we received under the GE Appliances for Heroes Award. We received 4 appliances. We received a full-size refrigerator, freezer, washer, gas dryer, and a new microwave, all compliments and delivered by GE. That will allow us during holidays when people drop stuff off. We won't be wasting any food. We'll be able to store stuff for longer shifts. We discussed various PPE from the Portage County EMA had been donated. Residents gave us gloves, and BCI gave us some hand sanitizer. We discussed that we're monitoring residents connected to mowing their properties. And to touch up on that, I have met with the contractor who's taking care of the Park Street lot, and I have his information. They're going to be looking to sell that in the near future. And the one on First Street, you should see an improvement there. I made contact with one of the contractors there yesterday. We discussed looking to purchase our own sanitizing machine. Since then, I have linked up with somebody, and we're getting them, we're working up a quote, but we're going to have a sanitizing machine for each department. So the police department, village hall, service department will be able to get one for the lodge, as well as water and wastewater, and it'll be very affordable. And I'm also working on a disinfecting spray that will actually kill the COVID-19 within 1 minute. So I'm actually meeting, I had a last Thursday, and I'm going to be meeting with them tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So we're looking to move forward with some of that stuff to do that. We discussed that Richfield Opata, our training facility, was closed. They laid all those instructors off, gone to the London office. And finally, we discussed about school opening. We were waiting on the ODE. The latest word that I have is that Crestwood schools will be open all in the day after Labor Day. So they're going to go all in. They're prepping as far as masks and how they're going to move their students around and how that's going to work out. We had nothing to go to finance, park, service. We didn't table anything. We had no executive session needed. We had a motion to adjourn at 6:23. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for August 5th at 6 p.m. And that's all that I have, Mayor.
Hey, I do have one question while I'm thinking about it in case I don't see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Parks and Shade Tree are meeting in council chambers tomorrow. So if you could put one of the temperature things at the end of the council table so that they can take their temperatures. And if you would make arrangements to have the room sanitized on Thursday morning, then that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. I just got word back. We had received some infrared thermometers for testing their digital readout from Portage County EMA. It's got their label on it. So I told them that if they were donating them to us, that I'd need a motion from council to accept them as a donation to the village. However, they're just on extended loan to us. When this is all said and done, they will need those back, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon. So we may look at purchasing our own anyway, to where if they're shorted and they need theirs back, we're not left high and dry, because we have this COVID-19 fund. And I think what we need to do is prepare for our future and make sure that we're doing what we need to do for interest. But yes, I will sanitize the room tomorrow just as a precaution. I will then take care of it on Thursday. And I will make sure that there is a digital thermometer upstairs right at the end where Dave sits.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you and John are still working together to come up with your list of items that you want to submit to Jenny for what we're going to try and get besides the 55-gallon drum, the sanitizer machines and the digital thermometers and stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that I looked at, it'll be in 5-gallon buckets. I'm working out a way that rather than us, we're going to be able to buy in bulk at a reduced price, but they're willing to store it for us and then just ship it to us as needed. So I'm working on all that. But yeah, I did talk to John. I talked to Dave. There's no sense both of us trying to order the same things. Let's get together and order in bulk and probably save on shipping. And it's a win-win for everybody.
Any idea on how soon we'll be getting the hand sanitizer machines at the entrances?
At the entrances, I can probably put them, if I have liquid spray right now, if I had a couple spray bottles, the stuff that BCI gave us, it's not the gel, it's actually liquid, and I can have it there as early as tomorrow. If you're going to have a meeting upstairs, I'll have one at the front entrance tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's enough for one day.
Okay, we'll go to Village Administrator John True.
Yes, the engineering stuff, which Rich is going to talk about too. I think we already covered all that. And I'm working with Joe on the coronavirus individual items. And like I said, he'll be taking point on all of that. So there's not 2 or 3 talking to different contractors. And I've got a couple bids yet for the Zoom meetings for some of those devices that have not come in yet. And we'll get those together and send everything off to the council and to Jenny.
So, John, when you went out for the Zoom bids, did you go out for more microphones to be dispersed around the room?
right now, I'm looking at what other people have, but Michelle had a camera the one time, just a small camera. And then, of course, yes, they have microphones that can pick up several of them. We will do that.
Because, yes, listening to some of the committee meetings on YouTube, people that aren't right at the podium, that are off on the sides, are very hard to understand. So more microphones would be helpful.
Okay, I'll make sure I include it. I'll see if we can at least get 3 or 4 on the dais.
Thank you.
And one for the residents too, if they would speak.
Yes.
Okay.
And John, just for clarification too, now that you brought up microphones, besides the meetings when they are on Zoom being taped and saved, I'm sure that Jenny's doing the same thing that Mary Ann does, and she does make a copy of it that we have for infinity or however long we're required to keep. So it's not just on YouTube that it's taped. So everybody's aware.
And that's all I have for now, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Village administrator, yeah, village engineer, Rich Police, CT Consultants.
Evening, Mayor and Council. We have my written report. Couple things to add or embellish. The scoring we received from the application, and may I ask, there's background noise. I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't, yeah, is that me? Let me see if it's me.
No, it's gone. So the preliminary scoring we received there still is going on.
Rich?
Maybe everybody needs to mute.
Anybody that's not talking, put yourself on mute, please, so we can see if we can get rid of that noise.
Okay. The score that we received, the preliminary score we received for the small government phase 2 was favorable based upon the number that we got. 9 of the last 10 years, that score got funded. So the decision is going to be actually published by Ohio Public Works Commission streamed through YouTube Thursday morning. So if you're not doing anything, you got some popcorn, you want to watch YouTube, you can catch OPWC announcing the projects that get funded. But we'll know this in a couple of days. But again, it looked positive from our experience on the score. I provided council a couple of weeks ago a summary of the county's revised approach to the surcharge calculation. Presuming that be a topic for some work session or whatever, but just want to make sure everybody received it, that it put together. It basically is just a summary to date of the methodology, the change in methodology proposed by the county. The other thing I wanted to report on this evening, if I may share screen, is the reservoir. As we discussed last month, the property owner is refusing to provide property for us to build the tank. On the sketch that you see here, you'll see labeled right here is the booster station. Reservoir Drive is up and down here to your right. So north is up. The existing tank, reservoir in-ground tank, is here where I'm drawing my cursor. Booster station here. Our property line is, and I'm sorry it's faint, but it's right where my hand is, the cursor is coming across. The property line, the northerly property line is right there. So what we're attempting to do to reevaluate, reassess, is the ability for us to still construct the tank on our property, get a temporary easement, which I think the gentleman, according to John, was amenable to temporary easement and restoration so that we can build the structure keep it on our property. We've got to look at how we protect ourselves here. The whole idea here is to save money. And this concept will attempt to keep this in service without, if you recall, we had a temporary tank, temporary pumping. Keep this in service, build this. We might move a utility line, but get this in service and then demolish the existing reservoir on the site. So at this point in time, the design team is assessing the ability to construct this and then provide you with an updated project cost. The project cost we were holding right now is $550,000. Our team is hopeful that this concept, albeit as long as we get a temporary easement and be able to build within 5 or 10 feet of this property line, our property line, and putting the tank up, we will, the benefit to the northeast part of the community is we will be able to increase the hydraulic grade line, meaning we're going to be able to increase the pressure in the northeast quadrant that has suffered for years by at least 4 or 5 pounds. So there is some benefit to that. That was just a kind of an overview. I'll be getting you a more detailed report here in the next few weeks relative to that. The only other item to report on was related to phase 2. I also provided council with an overview summary of the cost. So where the project cost is much less, the construction cost is much less. Therefore, the grant, we're underutilizing the grant, we're underutilizing the dedicated monies from DMRC as well. So there's a balance. What I propose to do now that we've awarded to LAM a contract for construction is to meet with representatives of DMRC in the village, we'll meet in the field, and maybe discuss what potential additions we can make and still, since we have money left, if we want to do that, if we want to use up more of the grant, and DMRC is amenable to using the monies that they've already provided to the village. The summary showed you we're about $2,000 less than what they provided to the village. And that includes engineering. So we're under budget. And we've got obviously a very attractive pricing from the contractor, but we have experience with this contractor. He does good quality work. So anyhow, that's what we'll work through this and obviously make further reports to council as we proceed with phase 2. That's all I had this evening, Mayor, Council, unless there's any questions.
Yes, on the reservoir, I think one of the issues that came up from the property owner was putting that tank there and having it 20 feet above the ground level, and it's sitting out in a very prominent position. It impacts the environment, the nature of that community, that little Reservoir Drive community, and it puts this tall structure in a very obvious location. And I know that he had suggested, can't you put it behind that little garage of his and over in another area that would not be as obvious to the whole community, the whole neighborhood. And because it is, if you think about having a 20-foot high round tank of bright blue or aqua or whatever color it is, it would be distracting.
To your point, Paula, I'm sorry I omitted that. Yes, we're looking at alternative locations. In fact, I don't think we're going to have room where the gentleman was referring to, but I'm thinking out of the box and pushing it up north onto Crestwood property, outside of the neighborhood, and getting it up the hill, if you will, even if we have to build a little bit of water line to connect. So I'm sorry, I didn't make a complete report there. So
Yeah, because,
yeah, so we're looking at alternative locations, and quite frankly, kind of want to walk it in the field to see if there's an opportunity there to maybe push it north.
that would be very beneficial, I think,
Yeah.
to that group.
Yeah. The booster station, we can pump anywhere, just pump to the tank to the north. So, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Richard, so what does that do to our timeline? I mean, how are we with the EPA? You're
Obviously,
dealing with them?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm trying to document that for our record, all those communications in that, and I'm trying to get a reply back from the agency to show we're communicating, we're keeping them posted of our schedule and what's going on. So,
Okay.
yeah, very cognizant of that, Scott. Yeah.
So who will be talking to the high school, to the school system regarding using their property?
Oh, I'll be talking to the mayor. So no, if you want to direct me to talk to somebody there, that's
No,
fine.
I just, no.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out and,
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just doing a field reconnaissance. I'm not meeting with anyone. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, considering moving the station up north in the Crestwood property up by the woods and that. But I just had another quick question while I got you, Rich.
Yep.
And your county revised proposal email here. It's the revised approach, for the calculation of the surcharge. And you mentioned that the methodology, this new methodology, is something they've always had at their disposal, but only recently suggested. Why do you think that is? That they only recently suggested this revised methodology here?
Matt, I believe, not speaking for John, the mayor, Michelle, I think we all had the same question.
Okay.
Mayor John, I don't, what we kind of scratched our head, and I think my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the county reported that in a informal kind of a discussion amongst the administration, someone had brought up, I'm thinking it was Tia, that they have other rules within their setup that allow them to bill per what they call an equivalent building unit. I don't know why it didn't come up a year ago.
Yeah.
And I think our committee voiced an internal opinion that if it had, we probably would be in a different position today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. I'm still playing catch up.
Yeah, no, good question,
Okay.
Matt. We had the same reaction.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
Hey, Rich, anything else?
Sorry, Mayor, that concludes what I have. Thank you.
Okay. I am not prepared to do so. Dave was going to give us an update on where we were on the negotiations. And so I guess that will have to wait until next month. Of course, I think that Rich pretty much explained it all in the memorandum, but that's where we're at. So moving on to Scott for service and planning.
Okay, service. We had, what did we do? Oh, we spent a lot of time discussing the cemetery and our landscapers and the money that we owe and money that owed us and how we're handling all those funds. I think we got all that worked out. A little bit of discussion on our meters, our new water meters. We found out that, I'm not sure, 8 or 10, I think John was telling us, the meters need they're oversized meters, which they need a bigger feed, and which is going to cost us some more money. And we're kind of tossing that around. Mayor said we didn't need an answer at that meeting, but we still need to discuss how we're going to come up with the extra funds for that, which is a little aggravating. I mean, they gave us a quote and
Well, if I can interrupt,
Yeah, go ahead.
we had originally talked $200,000.
Yeah.
And Nefco's bid came in at 169, and we added 10% to that. And so that took it up to 100 and
Right.
180 or so. So we're still under the 200,000. We may have to amend it again, but we're hoping that
Right.
$12,000 buffer is
Yep.
to address the ones that are there. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're probably still going to be really close, but if we go over, that's going to be aggravating. So,
Randy,
yes.
is that increase in the size of the pot, is that going to cost the residents or that going to cost the village? How's that going to work out? That part's going to work out.
Well, it's not going to, hopefully it's not going to cost us anything. We added to their quote or their bid when they gave us the bid package. So we added 10%. We're still, it looks like we're still going to have it covered, but
All right.
we were hoping to have money. We were hoping to have more money left,
I hope so.
you know.
I don't want to have to pay them more than I got to.
Right, right. No, and it's the commercial meters, Ben, that, you know, have that bigger feed. And so it sounds like we'll be okay, but we just got to keep an eye on it. We went over the Orchard Street a little bit. I think we've already covered that. Oh, Marianne. So Marianne kind of dug into prorating a lot of these bills. She went over a bunch of stuff with us and she's on it. It seems like she's really got a handle on this whole thing. So she explained a lot to Matt and Paul and I about how she was handling the bills. And I think Jenny touched on it early in the meeting that it sounds like between the two of them, they've got it worked out to where, you know, she has everything under control, which is good because I think we were all a little lost at the beginning. But it sounds like Marianne and Jenny have it worked out. We got a letter back. I don't know if you all knew that we sent a letter to Mr. Lombardi on that trust for the cemetery. And we did receive a letter back from him thanking us that being honest with our, you know, telling them of our overages or underages, I should say, that we didn't spend all the money that they allocated for us. And sounds like they'll be taking care of us whenever we need money for the cemetery now. So that was a good move on our part. Planning. We went over that. We reviewed the murals, 45002, how we're gonna deal with the payments for nonprofits. We will just take out the administrative money just to pay for the secretary. I shouldn't say secretary, for the administration of those permits. We discussed the Landmark Commission. They want to, I don't know if everyone was aware, but they want to try and replace our old street posts, which are the old concrete street post, which everybody seems to love. But John brought up a great point that, you know, they're not breakaways and we have to really be careful what we put in their place. So John's looking into that with the state to see how we can, or what kind of post we can use and how to go about that. But the Landmark Commission's pushing for it. It would really be nice to update our street posts. We went over a site plan review. The mayor talked about the physical copies. We did talk about that. We want to do some more on site plan review, but we didn't have a full staff. So we kind of pushed that off until we have all of our members there. And it was also same thing with backlit signs. We talked about backlit signs. We do want to go through the sign regulations again. And, but we want to wait until we have a full crew to do that. So everybody's input. So we have everybody's input. So we tabled that till next month. Hopefully we have everybody there. And I don't think I'm missing anything. I think that was it. Yep, that was it.
Artie, Parks and Shade Tree.
Yes, Parks and Shade Tree will have a live meeting at the Village Hall tomorrow evening. We'll rediscuss some things that have been going on for parks, and we have to judge the essays for the third graders for our Tree City program. So I'm sure we'll be there half the night laughing. And I
Yes, we
will
will.
report on it at our next council meeting.
Okay, cemetery. We met with, and we being myself and Barkey Zoller met at the cemetery regarding the cemetery doors on the mausoleum. We came up with some suggestions, and we met with a company called Boxum, Botzum, that deals in steel type doors. That was just last Thursday, I think it was. And he's going to be getting us a couple different estimates on replacing the doors for the cemetery and probably the door lock. I spoke with Lorraine Coit, the one who we've appropriated the money for the Coit Trust, and I told her that we were still checking on things, and so I will be sending her a letter now that Jenny has created a line item for that, and I will send that letter to you before I send all of them, or to them. And Board of Zoning Appeals, I don't think there's anything going on with that at this time. Paula?
Hey, Linda, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Are the doors the only thing left down there that we need to take care of? I mean, our guys did a lot to the mausoleum.
What,
We got the roof done,
pressure
tuck
washed
pointed.
mausoleum. We've put a new roof on it. They've sealed the sandstone or whatever kind of stone that is. The
Right.
only thing we have left probably that might be costly is John True and I are meeting, and I think Dave is going to be there with a gentleman on Friday from Pinnacle Monuments. And what they do is some of the big headstones that are listing to the sides and ones that are small that are just sinking, they reset them. And so we're going to be meeting with them to see what kind of cost is involved in straightening some of those ones up and everything. So I have no idea what kind of cost that's going to be, but it'll be interesting to meet with this company. They've done quite a few in the area.
Okay. But as far as the mausoleum goes, it's the doors.
It's basically the doors.
Okay.
And cleaning a couple critters out of there.
Okay.
And John, I can't think of anything else at the cemetery.
I thought we covered everything on the mausoleum except for the door. I thought that was the only thing we were waiting on. I just wanted to make sure.
No.
Nothing slipped by.
I know that it was brought up at finance. And this is while we're still with you with service. It was brought up that the chipper that we have is a bazillion years old. It's way too small as far as the whole size of getting the
Right.
limbs in there and stuff. And it's every time they take it out, they're jury rigging to keep it going, and it's safe. So John is working with Dave to see to get some cost on what they are. John was trying to get one from Davy Tree that had a blown motor or something, and then just put a new motor in it, or that. So that was discussed at finance. Why it was at finance before it came to service, I'm not sure.
Oh, no, we discussed it at service.
Okay.
We've discussed it months ago at service.
Yeah,
We, yeah,
was trying to get a grant months ago.
yeah, we were, John had brought it up and we decided, yeah, we do need one. We need to do something.
Yeah, so we'll be discussing that again at service. Hopefully
Okay,
we'll have some quotes by then.
okay, good. I'm sorry, I won't interrupt again.
That's all right. Oh, and I wanted to remind everybody to look in your codified under 145.04B to remind you all that anything that we do submit to the cemetery trust must be approved by council, anything. So just please reread that and we'll move on to Paula.
Okay, Portage County Regional Planning, nothing really to talk about, and Chief has already covered safety.
Okay, thank you. Dave Saluka for Finance, he's not here. They went over the legislation. They talked about the chopper, chipper. And there was one other thing that I can't remember that was on there, Jenny. I don't remember. There was one other thing in the new and other business, but I don't remember what it was. I wasn't at the meeting. So I'm having a hard time remembering. It was just
The
Remember what it
coronavirus.
was, Matt?
I can't remember what was on the agenda for that. So
Matt, do you remember what that was?
Yeah, I believe it was the coronavirus relief money.
oh, okay.
Yep.
That's what I think too, Matt.
Okay, moving on to new and other business. I just have one thing for council to consider. I mean, in these trying times with the coronavirus and the spike that we have taken in the area, one of our township businesses closed for 3 days to clean their business, sanitize it out and do a deep clean because of the coronavirus. Are we at a point where I don't think that we have a right to mandate? I don't even know if we can mandate anyone to make sure that they wear masks and social distancing in the businesses, but should we think about suggesting, I don't know what the correct terminology would be. I mean, I know that when you go into some places, when you go in like to the restaurants and stuff, yes, you wear your mask when you go in, but then when you sit down, but if you're going like to one of the watering holes around, you know that they're not wearing their masks there. And that's one of the ways it spreads is when we all get together and we don't have masks on when we're too close. So I don't know. I see other communities are passing laws to mandate it. Are we at that point here in Mantua Village to do that? I don't know. I'm asking for council's thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna have to think about it, but I think we should.
I'm a big proponent of it. I just think, you'd listen to the CDC. I hate it. I hate wearing one. I have to wear one all day at work. But, I mean,
I agree.
this is getting out of control again. We did so good back in March and April, and then all of a sudden, Ohio just tanked it all over.
I believe we should mandate the mask.
And I think we need to do something with it because it seemed to have worked when we were all doing it so well before, and everybody said, yay, the summer's here, we're going to go out, and now that it's, like I say, it's hit too close to home.
Yeah.
The person that happened to get it in the township, or I don't know where the person lives, but where it was in the business in the township, the person also goes to a business here within the village. So, I mean, we definitely have to be cautious.
I know, talking to a business owner in the village today, they were concerned, wearing the mask, it's not really not accomplishing anything. It doesn't save you. Well, it's not intended to save you. It is wearing the masks allows you to protect the people around you.
Exactly.
And recognize the people around you. And that's what I brought up to her. But there will be, the comments back to the negative, but I think we really should be wearing masks when we're out.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I do too. Matt, what's your feeling? Marty? You're both on mute. I can see your lips moving.
Well, I think it's certainly important, that we protect ourselves. As for mandating, I don't know. That's kind of I hate to use the word slippery slope, but I certainly understand the importance of it all, for sure.
I think that we should at least remind everyone that they should be wearing a mask. If not for themselves, for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's for the next guy. It's for your neighbor.
And I
Well,
think
it's for me too, but it's more for them. And I go shopping and I would say that 80% of the people in the building have masks on, including all of the employees. And then you'll see some people just walk in and stand right next to you without any protection.
and I go along with what Matt says as far as it would be difficult to mandate it, and how would you enforce the mandate? But trying to figure out a way to encourage it and say masks are recommended that you be wearing them, because right now the governor isn't mandating, and I know Kent is mandating.
Franklin Township.
Yeah, they may have a little better. Who's going to enforce Franklin Township? The sheriff? I mean, Joe, how do you want to?
That's a health department enforcement. It's not going to be a police matter. We can recommend it, but to my knowledge, unless Michelle has further information, what I have, the sheriffs are saying we are not masked police. We can suggest it, we can recommend it. They're not taking them to jail. The jail's not accepting people unless they're violent felony offenders because they don't want it in the jail.
Yeah.
Health department issue.
I can
Well,
put together some sample legislation from other municipalities and see how they're enforcing it as well. I mean, I know the state has mandated some counties that are entering the red warning area with so many warning factors, but I haven't actually seen any legislation from municipalities, but I can get it together for safety, which will be the first Wednesday of August. So at least something to look at.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Or
Yeah,
sooner.
August 5th is our next meeting.
I
And Mayor, if I may, just to follow up, I kind of know what you're talking about. The one business in the township that shut down and cleaned, and even though it's out on Facebook, I'm not going to mention it. The person is affiliated with a business in our village who also did post on Facebook that they were doing a deep cleaning as well.
Right. I just don't want to see us shut down. And I think if we all take the initiative to start wearing our masks more diligently, that we can beat this, but we just have to be consistent. That's the thing.
can I make a small suggestion? And do you think maybe we should take a couple of the benches or chairs out of the mini park? They're not really socially distanced.
That's what the restaurants are doing. Businesses here in Streetsboro, they're forcing you to social distance.
I know. I know. I mean, they're forcing you to do so, and I just wonder if we should take a few of them out and put them in storage. You hate to be the police. Like, I mean, sorry, Joe, no offense, but I mean, you hate to, you know what I mean? But if people are getting that close together,
How many tables are in the mini park now? I thought there were only 3 with 4 chairs at each one.
I thought there were 2. Are there 3?
3.
3.
And who is cleaning? Are they cleaning those or are we cleaning those?
Our guys are still going in the morning and doing it.
They're going in and spraying them.
If we're gonna do that, we probably have to look at picnic tables at the park pavilions too.
Well, Dave had spread them out
Yeah,
under the pavilions. I don't, but maybe we might need to have to remove a couple out.
Either remove them or chain them to the corners to force them to be,
right.
so they can't be slid together.
He had them when we had our parks meeting down there. He had them pulled like to the outside. Dave did. They were pretty far apart. I mean, anybody can pick them up and move them back together, but I mean, the guys did try to move them apart. So I don't know, Linda. That's a very good question. You know,
On the mini park, you know, if we took one of the benches out of there, would that give us enough room to at least spread the 3 tables out?
Probably.
And not really leave the 4 chairs around them, because they'll just, if they have 4 people, they're gonna move the chairs anyways.
Right.
And maybe just moving one bench out. Can we put it on the sidewalk along the Prospect in front of what I call the trench?
Why don't we put it in the grass across the street in the new park? Which is another concern I'm going to bring up. And I don't know, I just caught the sign out of the corner of my eye, but you know, if they want to have yoga in the park, if it's going to be in that park, and believe me, I love yoga. I mean, I think we should do what New York did and put 6-foot circles. If they want to do that, if they're going to have people, you know what I mean?
Well, Randy,
You make a 6-foot diameter circle, 3 or 4 feet apart, that's going to socially distance the people. But
yeah, I don't know if Edie or whoever is doing it has circles, but they do have flags.
okay,
Little flags so that they are spread out.
okay, all right.
So that is it. And if I don't know how heavy the benches are, but let's see, there's one bench at the bottom of the stairs. Possibly you could even move it up Main Street on the same side as Restoration 44, maybe between a couple sets of the stairs or something. I'd have to look. I don't remember how many benches they have on Main Street in front of Restoration 40.
Yeah. If we could move it over to Main Street, that would be worthwhile.
Yeah, over where the vending machines used to be, up on that little platform.
Well, not on the platform, but right beside the
Right,
stairs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there used to be
There's space there.
a long time ago. So.
Okay.
Okay, well, everybody think about it, because like I say, I was thinking about just giving them a call and just suggesting to them, but I'm not going to do anything until I hear from you all to decide.
I mean, I think all you can do at this point is suggest it to the businesses, you know, just ask them. We are asking you if you will do this for the village, you know, or the people of the village. And
To even put a sign on the door, I was at the post office today and it said, you know, you're not allowed, only one person's allowed inside at a time, but it said nothing about a mask, you know. So
Really?
they just, yeah, I once if I missed it, but
okay.
highly encouraging, I think is the way to go for now.
Yeah, maybe just
I
ask
mean,
them.
I think that's because they put up that plexiglass, green mask, and then they put up that plexiglass, and then you gotta pass under that. Some of the
Sure.
places are, I know a lot of the businesses starting yesterday and Sunday, Lowe's, Home Depot, Giant Eagle, Marks, some of the bigger stores, Walmart, they're all now requiring you, and they're checking the door now mandatory mask.
Yeah.
Before you can even enter.
Well, yeah, because if we speak to the businesses, the business owner can decide you're gonna wear a mask to get in here and you're gonna social distance.
Right.
Like Matt said, I think it's a slippery slope if we mandate it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I agree. And sooner or later, I think the governor's going to.
Yes.
I mean, if it gets out of control, he's going to have to.
Yeah, as long as we all do our part, so we don't have to close down again.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
hard to
it'd be nice.
mandate something that can't be enforced.
Right.
Right.
Okay, any other new or other business?
Yes, have you heard anything about the Potato Festival? Are they still going?
No.
Nothing's
I
been
sent
heard.
an email out probably
they're done.
2 weeks ago that it was, they just sent us an email that they're
Yeah.
not doing it.
They chopped it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I'll find the email again and resend it to you, Paula.
Oh, that's okay. The other question or the other thing I wanted to mention is the first week of August, I will not be available. I'm going to be on vacation. So I won't be attending service or safety on the first week of August.
I'll have to look at the list to see who's the alternate. I can't
I
remember.
think Dave's my alternate.
I think Marty's the alternate for,
If you got a quorum, you don't need an alternate.
I'm sorry, Ben?
I said, if you have a quorum, you don't need the alternate. If you got 3 people and you got 2 still there, you still got a quorum. I was just saying that. I'm just mentioning it.
I know. Okay, any other new or other business? Executive session? Motion to adjourn at 8:07?
So moved.
Second,
Ben,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Paula.
yes.
You guys have a good evening.
Oh, you as well, Ben.
Yeah. Have a good evening, everyone.
See you, Joe.
You too.
See you, everybody.